Hello, World of Tank Blizzards. It's Littlefinger doing a full tank review here on the American Tank Destroyer T28 HTC. This is a Tier 7 premium tank that is currently on offer as part of Black Friday Cyber Week. They're calling it 3,250 gold. So I went ahead and jumped on it. This is a tank that I've been wanting just because it's a little bit unique. You can see it here. It's got over 200 mil of armor in the front. Though the biggest weak spot is going to be these two gun mantlets here on each side. It is a tank destroyer and it does not have a fully rotational turret. But the nice thing about this tank is it's got 30 degrees either side. So you've got 60 degrees of coverage without having to move this tank. Just real quick, let me show you how I have it set up equipment-wise. We're running gun rammer, defense system, camouflage net, enhanced gun laying drive, enhanced armor, engine accelerator, and vertical stabilizer. And the only one I would really question about is the refined gun or vertical stabilizer. And, you know, I'm not really sniping a lot. I am playing this on the move. So I felt like having the vertical stabilizer. Plus, if I can get the dispersion under 0.3, then I typically go with the refined gun. Because we can't do that, then we're going to go with the vertical stabilizer. You can see here just real quick, I'm only running 10 rounds of APCR. And make sure you're buying that with credits, not gold. So before I jump into full game replays here, I wanted to show you what the HTC looks like live on the battlefield. And look at all that red, 180 mil of pen on this gun, and we're not going anywhere close through that front. But obviously that gun mantlet is the huge weak spot. So to play this tank effectively, you need to learn how to angle this tank so that you've kept the side facing the enemy hidden behind an obstacle, and then you're angled so much that they can't hit the other side because it's facing away from them. So let's jump into some gameplay and talk about stats. Alright guys, so first game here on Rockfield as top tier, and got a couple people calling left, which is fine by me. Keep in mind the one difficult thing with this tank is you've only got 4 degrees of gun depression. So when you think of each map and where you're going to go, you got to think about getting to flat locations. You cannot play this tank on hills. It's really difficult with that 4 degrees of gun depression. And then what I'm trying to do here is I'm obviously staying behind this bush, and I'm angling as much as I can, and I'm trying to get one of those gun mantlets behind the hard cover, the rock there. And then obviously the one on my left is covered by the tank, and you can see it here as to what it might look like as far as the tank coming around. But alas, they have gone the heavy side. So this could potentially be one of these situations where I get left behind as being a little bit on the slow side in this tank. Our top speed is only 29 kilometers per hour, and that's woefully slow compared to all of the other TDs at this tier. You know, and I'm putting it kind of into a bucket with the rest of the premiums, which would be the E25, the Helsing, the Blaze, ISU 122S. So as you can see here, I'm kind of out on my own. I've got one person coming back. That T3485 is responding to my SOS call, which is great. But you can see here the tank is now starting to work really well for me as we get all of these bounce shots. T3485, I'm not sure, he just ran out there. But here we are. Now we've been able to get behind cover. And we've got most of the weak spots on this tank hidden behind this rock. And we're maxing out that 30 degrees there of gun arc. So we got that shot into the Chaffee. I figure he is going to come around, but that's okay for right now. You know, we'll pull forward and get some shots into this VK. As far as damage per minute numbers, the tank is on the low side at 2282 without any equipment. Put that in comparison, let's say, to the E25 at 2789, the Helsing at 2579. And so as we get here back into the battle, this Chaffee coming around me, this is another reason I try to stay close to hard cover. Is it really helps prevent any tanks from circling you. You can back up to that rock and keep them from going around. And you know, it was a slow start there, but we finished with 2,900 damage in this tank. So here's a bottom tier game on Castilla, and I'm tuned up with Don't Die Yet. We had a few games this afternoon. I'm going to be posting this game Saturday evening here. As we get started, you can see, again, trying to, just emphasize the positioning of this tank. So nice flat spot up here. Again, make sure you think of places you can get to with flat spots. And we've hid that gun mantlet on the left side behind this building, and then obviously the one on my right is hidden by the tank itself. So we're in a nice secure position here, and we'll just wait for our heavies and other tanks to get some spots in. There's that ISU 122S, and yeah, that's going to be a quick game for you, boy. So the thought here was that he was all by himself, but actually he's not. KV4 spots up. So we're going to try to get into positions to get him, but seeing that nobody else has spotted up on this side, I can be a little bit more aggressive and push on into the middle here. Penetration 181 without any equipment is right in the middle of the pack of these tier 7 TDs. The Helsing, Blaze, ISU 122 all have 175 millimeters of pen, where the E25 has 194. I really didn't have too much problem. Obviously, we've got a KV4 here, so we're going to have to switch over to APCR. So if we look at weapon handling for this tank, 2.08 seconds on the aim time is the worst in the class. E25 at 1.36 seconds is definitely the best. 1.89 for your Helsing. So it's workable. Your dispersion's at 0.36. The Blaze and the ISU 122S are worse. Again, 4 degrees of gun depression is probably the biggest negative to me on this tank. So you really have to keep that in mind. We've mentioned your aiming arc 30 degrees either side, which is really nice for a non-turreted TD. That's quite a bit. For example, the E25 only has 12. The ISU 122S only has 8. So now, we've got some tanks here with some decent armor, so we're switched back over to APCR. We've kind of pulled up a little bit too far. They're getting shots over this ridge line. I'm trying to make sure that that IS 5, I think it was, is, or maybe a 6, behind the building there, so I'm not worried about him. And, we just peek in there and get our shot in and back up. Mentioned the top speed of only 29 kilometers per hour. It is obviously a very heavy tank with a good bit of armor, so you can, can't expect this tank to be going too fast, right? Camo numbers are not that great compared to the other tanks at tier 7 premium. Credit coefficient 150%. It does make decent money. Some of the tier 8 premiums that are for sale right now in the garage are at 170%, so you're going to make a little bit more money there. Repair cost is 7, which is, it's reasonable. And you can see here, 2252 in damage. We got 9 shots in and made some decent money on that game. So this last game here on Yamato Harbor, I've got several people said that they like when you can see some bad examples. So, in this game, I felt like there was a low probability that the other team was going to go onto the ship. They only had 2 heavy tanks, and so I've pushed up here into the middle, and yet I kind of get overextended to some degree. As you'll see here, the Lycan, and as I'm getting bounced left and right, was experiencing a little bit of lag in this game, so it might show up in the replay here. But so we've got a Lycan here that's hull down. Not a lot that I can do about that. So I'm trying to pull away. I get hit by that JP4. And my initial process was just back up and go help, the team there at spawn, because my platoon partner has gone there and there's several tanks over there. But that JP4 just baited me out there one time and then hid behind the building. And that was enough time here for me to lose out on being able to get around. Some poor driving here, driving backwards and trying to turn around at the same time. And so we'll get a shot here onto the VK2801 and put him on 3 hit points, and he becomes my nemesis in this game. T23 is going to push up way too hard. We'll take him out, but I've got this VK here, and the T20 is going to pop up right there. And so you can see a little bit of that lag there. The tank is not showing up where it was when I shot, but you get the point here that I'm pushing into a really, really bad situation. I have now just let that VK get around me, and there's nothing I can do at this point. That was just a silly, bad mistake on my part. And we're lucky enough that we're getting a few shots in on that T20. He's being too aggressive. But this VK2801 does a great job of just basically toying with me and eventually just finishing me off because I'm 2-on-1. So keep that in mind with this tank. Positioning is everything. I'm out in the open. I can't stop a COD. So stay on the outside of the maps. Stay near hard cover. And look for flat areas as you've got such poor gun depression of only 4 degrees. But 203 millimeters of armor on the front, and all that sloped and angled and rounded makes for a very, very bouncy tank. And one that I've really enjoyed playing so far. It is a little bit unique with the weak spots on either side and having to consistently think about how to hide those. But I think it was $32.50 in gold. I think that's a pretty good deal. So I'm excited about this tank, and hope you do too. So as always, guys, have fun out there. Stay safe. Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.